After that deadly fire, the local Red Cross launched what it calls a community-wide effort to install free smoke detectors. The Red Cross says anyone can request a free smoke alarm. You can learn more on the WSFA 12 News app or by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. If you want to get in touch with different organizations, head out to our third annual Day of Action in Selma. It's a free community resource fair hosted by the Black Belt Community Foundation and sponsored by WSFA. It's happening at Selma High School next Friday from 10 to 2. I'm Jasmine Williams with your headline.
1490 WHBB. Good morning, 8:10 on this Friday morning, January the 9th, 2026. Randy Williams with you until 10 o'clock this morning. And we're having some issues with our camera this morning. Maybe I'll have it corrected by the time, by the 9 o'clock hour. I don't know. But in the meantime, I will improvise. Okay. And with a few things. But I'm going to start off this morning. Let me first of all say good morning to Dallas County Sheriff Mike Grantham and wish him well. I'm sorry that he's retiring, but I'm not sorry because I would rather see him be healthy and enjoy the rest of his life. You know what I mean? He's given a lot of years of service, 2 terms as sheriff, and I have forgotten how many decades that Sheriff Grantham has been involved in law enforcement. And so I remember when I had heard that he had a health issue, a health scare that required 2 bypasses. You know, that's pretty serious. A heart bypass, you know, you can't get any more serious than that. And so, and he's in pretty good shape. You know, that was what was surprising. And I believe when I spoke with him, he said the doctor said that helped him survive it, that he was healthy, you know. And so he said it was a difficult decision to make, not to seek a 3rd term. That takes a lot. And so my hat's off to Sheriff Grantham, and I wish him the best. He's done an excellent job. Hopefully the next, and I believe I saw him do an interview with Channel 8, I believe George McDonald, and he said that the previous sheriff had done an excellent job, and so he took it to the next level and equipped the sheriff department, brought it up to date with the up-to-date technology and equipment and so on and so forth. And he hopes that the next sheriff will do the same, take it up another step. And so we've been very fortunate in Dallas County. And so we know the elections are coming up, the primaries in May and the runoffs in June. And so we need to be really scrutinizing and careful about who we choose as our next sheriff. We've got a lot of important offices that are coming up that we need to be really careful about. And I don't have a dog in the fight in terms of any particular candidate, but I do have a dog in the fight in terms of wanting to see us have the best in public safety. And whoever the next sheriff is, we need to make sure that they're qualified and competent, you know, and willing to do what needs to be done. Let me take this break, and I think I told you that already. I'll be back with more right after this.
Okay. Well, at least when I'm in the car.
I know I shouldn't do it, but it's so hard to stop. That's why I hide it from myself, so I won't be tempted.
I used to do it all the time. I stopped by locking it in my glove compartment.
My friend used to do it way too much. Now I turn it off when we're in the car.
My solution is simple. I just don't do it. There are lots of ways to stop yourself and others from texting and driving. How will you stop? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They've always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The proud Marines.
1490 WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning, January the 9th. Now, we've got a couple of things that are taking place, and one of them has to deal with our health. Yesterday, there was a major announcement that was made regarding the U.S. Department of Agriculture Secretary, alongside with U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., with new dietary guidelines. Now, I know there are people that may not, I don't know why. How do you not like Robert Kennedy Jr., the son of the late Senator Robert Kennedy, who was assassinated, and the nephew of President John F. Kennedy? And I do wonder whether or not they would recognize today's Democratic Party. Both of those personalities were very popular when they were both assassinated. And but that's a whole nother discussion. But so now what they're talking about is they're using a slogan called real food starts here. And I guess I really want to preference this by saying, first of all, we're dealing with big money when you're dealing with food and drugs. Huge billions of dollars are at stake. And so the resistance that I'm watching and listening to is going to be instigated by and funded by, paid for by lobbyists. Those are the people who are reacting. They're not concerned about, many of them, not all, but many of them are not concerned about our health. They're concerned about their bottom line. What's that? Profit. And so this is why, in my opinion, Senator Kennedy has been getting this kickback, because he's saying, no, let's return to the basics. And I guess if I really was going to go right into it in terms of some of the most dangerous habits that we have, two things I understand, and I'm learning this myself, that two ingredients that can lead to a very unhealthy lifestyle and diet. Number one, sodium, AKA salt. And they use sodium as preservatives in these ultra processed foods. And so that is what is causing a lot of the obesity and a lot of the diabetes and a lot of the other chronic diseases, because of what we're eating. And so they're saying that they're going to take a new approach. They're going to turn the plate upside down. You know, the food pyramid that they tell us, they're saying is just the opposite of what we need to be doing. And I'm not surprised. There's so much of that going on. It's too much of it. And so it's refreshing to see people question where we are with our health. You know, something's different, huh? But that's another story. But anyway, Dr. Sarah Williams, a registered dietitian, clinical nutrition manager at Jackson Hospital, says that the emphasis seems to be more on whole foods, reducing the amount of ultra-processed foods in the American diet. Ultimately, she says, I believe the goal is to decrease obesity in America. 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese, and a lot of that can be corrected by diet, said Williams. And I'm wondering, you know, it may be, sometimes it may be that we're not eating a whole lot. It's not how much we're eating, it's what we're eating. And we may not even know. You know, now there's some of us who have learned how to study labels and read. And I'm still learning how to read labels. I was shocked at, just to give you an example, I like to get vegetable beef soup. And once I became aware of the sodium, I was buying the cheap vegetable beef soup as a substitute instead of some of the major brands. And then I said, well, let me look and see what's the difference in the sodium, you know. So I looked on the label for the cheap soup, and the sodium was something like 250, and I'm paying under $1. I was paying under $1 for it, and then I looked at the other name brand soup, same vegetable beef soup, and looked on the label to see what the sodium was. It was 25. I said, well, the soup is cheaper, but the sodium is 3 times as much. That could kill me. Is it worth it? Is it worth me saving the money or saving my health? Which is worth the most? So, so I understand where they're coming from. So she says that according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, an estimated 8.4 million kids ages 12 to 17, this is unheard of, had pre-diabetes in 2023. That would have been unheard of even when I was a child and a teenager. Teenagers with diabetes, come on, all this has happened. That's more than 32% of children in that age group. She says, I believe it's a step in the right direction. There are some suggestions from that food guide that are needing a little more research. She says the increased amount of saturated fats in the diet does lead to increased calorie intake and increased fat intake, which is not the best for your cardiovascular health and for overall weight maintenance. So that could be approached in a different way, but emphasizing whole foods is a great approach, he said. Now, I'll tell you, I have been amazed that I remember when Mr. Kennedy first started talking about this diet approach in what was in our food. And I was amazed at the number of people that resisted his mere suggestion that we do research on our present practices. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with taking another look at what's happening in the food industry? You know what I mean? And I've been watching this other thing too. I don't know if I want you to study this thing now. We talk about food prices, but the one of the major factors with the spike in food was gas, because gas quite naturally would figure in to being a factor for an expense, being able to transport food from one location to another. If it's going on an 18-wheeler, of course, you're definitely dealing with gas. If you're flying, you're definitely dealing with oil and gas. Trains, a little different, but I don't know how much fuel is involved in that. But at the end of the day, when the fuel prices go down, the food prices should have gone down. But there are some stores who are still 3 and 4 times higher than what they should be. I guess it's called price gouging. So this is a good time to price shop and to compare. Some places are better than others on certain items. And so now, you need to really take a look at that because I guess if I was in that business, that I'd be trying to make as much money as I could for as long as I could too. Well, I take that back. I would like to think I'd be a little more ethical than that, but that's another story. You know what I mean? But my point is, it's big business and it's money involved. But do we let people's desire to make a profit override our desire to be healthy? So we got some movement going on. So anyway, Ms. Williams, the registered dietitian clinical nutrition manager at Jackson Hospital, and I'm sure she's qualified. She's got the credentials in the background and the training. She's informed. She's making an informed statement. She says, I believe it's a step in the right direction. There are some suggestions from that food guide that she said that need a little tweaking, a little research. She said the guidelines point to protein in every meal, eating fruits and vegetables every day, along with foods like eggs, olives, and avocados, while also limiting highly processed foods and alcohol. Williams mentioned that one potential challenge would be for lower income families who may not have access to fruits and vegetables. And so that is something that we have to keep our eye on. And it all boils down to priorities. What is your priority? What is our priority in terms of do we want to try and change some of our habits and eat healthier? Sometimes a little bit is better than nothing. It's just like exercise. If you're not planning on running in the Olympics, if you're not going to compete in the Olympics, then you might not need to take your level of exercise and endurance to the same level as a professional athlete. There's been research that has come out recently that suggests a little bit of exercise is better than none at all. You know, a 5-minute walk is better than no walk at all. And then you can build up. And so, you know, there's little things that we can do to be healthy and to make ourselves healthy. And I think that, of course, quite naturally is a good thing. Speaking of good things, there's a few other good things that are happening. And two good things in particular is what I'm thinking about right now. And the first I'll start with has to do with monies coming into our area. Governor Ivey has awarded grants to assist victims through agencies in South and Central Alabama to help victims of domestic violence heal and prosecute offenders. She's awarded $1.5 million. She says victims of domestic violence and other forms of abuse deserve the support needed to overcome the mental and physical scars left by crimes committed against them. These agencies have a proven track record of holding abusers accountable for their crimes, as well as helping those in need overcome their past and go on to lead healthy and productive lives. And so I remember when the times that I have worked with domestic violence organizations, including in this area, and having to find out that, you know, they have to provide safe houses many times for women and their children because they have an abusive partner that will go great lengths to continue to abuse them even after they've left them. They're looking for them, searching for them, trying to find a way to continue to abuse them. And so, yeah, they need the legal tools to prosecute and keep them away. Tell you what, let me take this quick break. We got somebody trying to get in, and I'll be back with more right after this.
Good morning, I'm Jasmine Williams at WSFA 12 News. Here's what's happening this Friday. A funeral for the 2 children who died in the Woodley Terrace apartment fire in Montgomery is set to happen today. Services for 8-year-old Billy and his 9-year-old sister Jaslyn will be held at Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church in Montgomery at 11 a.m. A burial service will follow at Forest Hill Cemetery. 3 people died in that apartment fire right before Christmas. After that deadly fire, the local Red Cross launched what it calls a community-wide effort to install free smoke detectors. The Red Cross says anyone can request a free smoke alarm. You can learn more on the WSFA 12 News app or by calling 1-800.
Next week I've got Tuesday and Wednesday. I've already booked the Thursdays.
Our 3rd annual Day of Action in Southwest, the free community resource fair hosted by the Red Cross Community Foundation.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's a really good idea.
Friday.
Some of the upcoming training.
I'm Jasmine
We're
Williams.
ready to go to Advocate Day in Montgomery.
Okay, good.
On the 20th.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Talk about the training class.
Weather.
Okay, that's fine. Thursday at 8.
Okay, thank you.
Rain and thunderstorms today.
That's all right.
Temperature 75 with the southwest wind gusting up to 20 miles an hour.
A 90% chance of more rain and thunderstorms tonight. South wind.
It's a big world out there, fast-paced and full of challenges. The last
Year 1490 WHBB weekend weather. Calling for clouds, a 70% chance of rain and thunderstorms today. High temperature 75.
Unemployment rate has been changed.
West wind gusting up to 20 miles an hour. A 90% chance of more rain and thunderstorms tonight. South wind still breezy at 10 to 20. A near 100% chance of the same tomorrow with a high temperature of 72. Southwest wind gust up to 20. Chance of rain decreases to 20% tomorrow night. Cooler temperatures come in with that front, low near 40, bringing sunshine and chilly temperatures for Sunday, a high of 52, mid-20s by Sunday night, and low 50s with sunshine on Monday. That is a look at your latest weather forecast. Have a great weekend and a safe weekend. From AM 1490.
1490. Okay, sorry about that. And you every once in a while you hear these commercials pop in when they shouldn't, and you see I've been having all kinds of technical issues. This is my season for mechanical problems. I have had all kinds of mechanical stuff go wrong the last couple of weeks, but that's okay. Every once in a while that happens. Have you ever ridden down the highway? You're on the interstate or one of the main highways, and I'll see a new car pulled over on the side of the road that broke down. Now, what is that? What is a brand new vehicle doing? You just can't control. I can't control what happens with mechanical or electronic or digital stuff. You never know. The internet slows down when I needed to go fast. Then it goes fast when I needed to go slow. And so I kind of find these things, I kind of find them funny because, it's the nature, I call it the nature of the beast. And it's very easy to get frustrated behind things I have no control over. I decided a long time ago not to do that. Don't have any control over it. I can't control it. I'm not going to get frustrated. I just roll with the punches. You know what I mean? And so eventually it'll turn around. I have the same attitude even when it comes to mental health. I think to some extent, I may be wrong, but I think that it's healthy to have depression from time to time. I say 10% down, 90% up. But when it's the other way around, that's when there's a problem. When your attitude is when you're depressed 90% of the time and 10% of the time you're all right, then there's a problem, right? And even 10% down might be high. I don't know, but I just kind of make an allowance for it. But anyway, that's another story. But getting back to domestic violence, it's a very serious issue. A lot of these domestic violence issues affect our children and affect the students in school. We've got a lot of layers of problems that exist in our communities. And I think the good news is they can be solved. We can do something about our behavior. Some of the craziness that I see, and I'm going to kind of jump subjects here for a minute because it's unfortunate that the woman in Minneapolis was shot by the ICE agent. But why in the world would I take my vehicle and weaponize it? Why would I try and run you over? Because I don't expect that I'm going to get hurt. I expect I'm going to run you over, and that you're going to get out. You may or may not get out of the way. If you don't get out of the way, I'm going to drag you and run over you. And so she made a choice. She made a decision. She took a gamble, and she lost, unfortunately. And so in Minneapolis is becoming a whole nother animal. And, I find it interesting, though, that not only, because they did after George Floyd, they went out of control, too. But this time is after billions of dollars have been discovered missing and stolen. Billions of dollars in fraud. And so somebody has decided that these people are not acting on their own free will. They're being brought and paid for. I saw an interview that Laura Ingraham was doing on the street. I hope she doesn't keep doing that because, people are unpredictable. But she was going through an exchange with one of the protesters. And then Laura Ingraham, was Laura Ingraham? Yeah. Then she says, Do you have a job? And the protester said, this is my job. I'm getting paid to protest. What is that? That tells you something, right? So the question becomes, who's funding it and why? So yeah, Minneapolis, and if you're not careful, California will be next. And I would not be surprised about Illinois and New York. It's just a matter of time. And then when all this comes up, right, we're going to have a lot of convenient memories. We're going to forget that it even happened. But if we continue to practice that behavior, then that means that we're asking for trouble. That means we know we're headed in the wrong direction and we're willing to support it because I want to be right. I want to win an argument. I'm not worried about the health of the nation. I'm not worried about public safety. Never mind that there's almost reportedly 10 million illegal immigrants in the country, and that a substantial number of those illegal immigrants have violent histories. Never mind that. No, I want to be able to stack the roles politically so I can win the next election. That's the way I'm beginning to read this thing. And I believe a lot of other people are too, unfortunately. But going back to domestic, it's all related back to this domestic violence. Thank God Governor Ivey's been doing this consistently, and she's giving away, she's investing $1.5 million, and we've gotten some of it locally. We're going to get in Dallas County, there are some funds that are being provided to Sabre Sanctuary. They do an excellent job. They do a lot of wonderful work. $94,500 will be given to Sanctuary. The Place is what is known as in Montgomery. One Place Family Justice Center is going to get the lion's share of that money, $523,000, but they serve a lot of counties. They serve Otago, Butler, Crenshaw, Dallas, Elmore, Lowndes, Montgomery, Perry, that's the Black Belt, and Wilcox counties. And also another $645,000 to the Montgomery Area Family Violence Program, also known as the Sunshine Center. They help people in Otago, Butler, Chilton, Crenshaw, Elmore, Lowndes, and Montgomery counties with shelter and other services. These are important, critical areas, where people need help. And I would much rather see $1.5 million be given to agencies that are helping people who are victims of domestic violence and homelessness, as opposed to billions of dollars in fraud that's being stolen from people. Why in the world would I support an initiative and an effort like that? Huh? Another thing about Minnesota that's concerning me is, again, after all this money that they're being accused of, you're innocent until proven guilty, but the timing is awfully strange. Now they want to do a civil war. I done got caught with my hand in the cookie jar, and so I'm not going to acknowledge that the federal government has any oversight with what I do. I'm going to bring the National Guard in to stop legitimate ICE agents from trying to remove illegal immigrants. Call in the National Guard. Everything is out of kilter. It's been turned on top of his head. And unfortunately, there are some members in mainstream media who are participating in helping promote that narrative. But I notice there's some that are backing away because they're realizing that the American people are not that dumb. A lot of folks can see what is happening. I think it's tragic. It's unfortunate. And I hope there aren't any more people that lose their lives behind challenging law enforcement that's trying to do their job. To me, it's as simple as that. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Randy, I think you need a correction on what you just said about the National Guard. National Guard is not there to stop ICE agents from going after.
You didn't hear what the governor Governor Wall said of Minnesota? You didn't hear him say that?
He called them and not
He said, I will call the National Guard in to throw ICE out, is basically what he said.
He did not.
I'll play it for you. I'm so tired of you with that crap. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to just, I don't want to embarrass you, but you're going to make me embarrass you.
Oh, you're embarrassing yourself, brother. That's what
You wait a few minutes.
I'm listening to the radio station can tell that you are not.
You wait a few minutes. I'm getting tired of your stuff. I'll prove it to you, but go ahead.
The man said he called up the National Guard to help the police department in case of an uprising in the city. That's why he called up the National Guard. There wasn't calling no chicken eyes out.
That is not what he said. That's not what I heard him say. I don't know which station you're watching. He may have said that too, but he also said, no. I know what he said, but go ahead. And why are you justifying it? You know, again, you're another one of those people. You think it's all right to ignore the rule of law.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of you right now. That ex-agent up there, they shot that woman. He was standing in front of the car. He didn't know I'm talking.
It depends on what angle you saw it. I saw 2 or 3 different angles, and one of them I could see clearly. This is the same guy that was just drugged for a couple of blocks over the summer. What are you talking about? I'm not trying to win an argument. I'm not even trying. That's your problem. You're trying to win an argument. I'm not trying to win an argument. I don't care about winning an argument. Go ahead and say what you're going to say. You got a minute, and I got to let you go.
He shot in the foot, and when she was fleeing, he shot 2 times in the side window, which is against the law, which is against protocol, which is against everything that the law enforcement stands for. Don't tell me this time she got what she deserved and all that stuff, man. They killed that woman.
Did you hear me say she got what she deserved? Don't put words in my mouth. Did you hear me say she got what she deserved? I said I was sorry that it happened. Yeah, you see, you just want to win an argument. Thank you for calling. We'll be back with more after these messages.
It's a big world out there, fast-paced and full of challenges. The last thing you need when you have a vehicle accident is more hassle on top of hassle. Wouldn't it be great if you could just go sit down and talk to Mom and Pop, Red and Kid? Mom and Pop are alive and well at Auto Beauty Body Shop in Selma.
Let's see.
Cindy Grimes have owned and operated Auto Beauty Shop for a good while now, and they extend their caring family approach to their customers. Certainly, they have the latest multi-tech equipment and highly trained technicians, and they have an excellent relationship with all the insurance providers. But they have something no other body shop has. They have Aaron and Cindy, the Mom and Pop of vehicle body repair. A simple approach to discussing the damage, the estimate, and the factory quality repairs. Please drive safe, but if you have an accident, ask your tow truck driver to take your vehicle to Mom and Pop Auto Beauty Body Shop, 2001 Highway 14 East, phone 334-872-2248. There are currently no delays. They can get you in today and start your repairs right away.
If you're considering home renovation, restoration, or construction of a brand new home from the foundation up, you should contact Steve Johnson at Renovation Plus.
This is Louise Walker. I just want to tell everyone that Steve has done 2 houses for me, and I have been very pleased with both of them. They're older homes that he had to figure out how to do things, and he did just beautifully. He's a licensed contractor. A lot of men claim to be contractors, but they're not. But he is. They're just great people. I would have him again if I needed that type of work. He is fair in his pricing and takes great pride in his work. If you would like to discuss your plan, call Steve Johnson at 412-1939.
Banking the way it should be at First Copper Bank means you never have to worry about the season or the weather with online banking. It's always there and always on, 24/7, 365, even on holidays.
I'm Richard Walters, president of First Cahaba Bank, here to let you know that all of our online banking resources have been invaluable to our First Cahaba customers. Although our lobbies are open, personal and business customers have discovered how convenient and easy it has become to manage financial resources without having to come inside the bank. And all of our online services, including mobile banking app, are free. Visit firstcahaba.com to get all of the information, or feel free to call any of our locations in Selma, Troy, or Gulf Shores for any questions or information. Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means we are constantly focused on the very latest technology for customer convenience and overall satisfaction. We would love for you to join our growing community bank family. First Cahaba Bank, FDIC, equal health.
1490 WHBB. So, you know, at the end of the day, and I know some of us have selective memories, we're going to forget about the hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants that were pushing their way into America from the Mexican side of the border. We're going to forget about that, right? If the United States had not allowed an estimated 8 million illegal immigrants who are not going through the legal process, I didn't say legal immigrants, illegal immigrants. If they had not been allowed to come in, then ICE wouldn't have to be trying to hunt them down. Well, there's another school of thought that says, well, they're here now, let them stay. And then they can vote in the next election. you know, come on. And so that's one thing. Oh, now that last caller asked me on the spot about what did I think about King versus what President Trump is doing. And I said initially my first reaction was, well, he's anti-war. No, Dr. King, it goes deeper than that. Dr. King was nonviolent. He didn't sign off on any form of violence. But as president of the United States, can the president afford not to respond to our being attacked on different levels in the way that he sees fit? And many times that means you can't have law enforcement and be nonviolent at the same time. Can't have it both ways. Dr. King was nonviolent, and his movement was nonviolent. You know, and the same is true when I compare Dr. King to these so-called modern movements. To understand, these guys are being paid to protest. There's no sincerity there. There's no social consciousness, you know, to do the right thing there. And I see a whole lot of things going on in the state of Washington and the state of Minnesota, but there's a lot of folks I see missing. And that's another one of the red flags. It tells me that means that these protesters are paid protesters. There's something wrong with that picture. But again, that's because you've got people who want to influence the court of public opinion. But thank God they're out of touch with the grassroots. Viewpoint, you're on the air. I'm not going to let you dominate. You got a minute. Make your point, and I got to let you go.
No King's Day. It was 7 million people in Freedom of America. You trying to tell me how long people were paid?
I didn't understand a word you said.
I said on No King's Day, when 7 million people turned out against Trump.
They were paid. The reports also confirmed that they were paid protesters.
You're telling me somebody paid 7 million people?
Yep. Yep. Well, that's why I say you are politically naive, my brother. Maybe one day I'll pray for you. Thank you. Have a good day. All right. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And whatever your opinion is, you're more than welcome to share it. Whether it makes sense or not, that's not up to me to decide. we have to let the court of public opinion decide that, huh? The other thing, another positive event, Congresswoman Terry Sewell voted yesterday to pass 3 domestic appropriation bills for the fiscal year 2026. Now, this is for people who say, oh, he never says anything positive about a Democratic elected official. He's always for the Republicans. Yeah, right. So Congresswoman Terry Sewell voted to help pass 3 domestic appropriation bills for fiscal year 2026. The Commerce, Justice, Science, Energy, and Water Development and Interior and Environment appropriation bills passed the House yesterday with what? Bipartisan support. Thank you. Congresswoman Sewell secured the inclusion of $750,000 for the city of Brighton, Alabama. And this is for key funding for public safety and historic preservation. She says, after failing to pass a single appropriation bill last year, I'm glad that House Republicans are working with Democrats and returning to the normal appropriations process, Congresswoman Sewell said. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning, Randy.
Yes, sir. How are you this morning?
How about you?
I'm fine. I'm doing fine. What's on your mind?
I've seen the incident that happened up there in Wisconsin.
Oh, you mean Minneapolis? They're about the same, but this I think you're referring to where the ICE agent had to shoot the woman.
Let me put something out there. Somebody got common sense to chew on it. Now, everybody up there that knows what the heck going on. Now, when you see a bunch of dang government people that had gone out, fully armed, why in the world do you want to do a stupid thing like that for? If you see somebody that's kicking somebody down, why in the world would you get in your dang car back and try to drive away? The logical thing out of here is that out here sit there and they cover until it's over with. Naturally, anybody that's in that kind of situation, that's in that kind of dang on job, they see a car moving toward them, what do you think is going to happen? People nowadays are done got stupid. Ignorant.
Well, there was another report was come out that this woman, along with others, are being trained to be agitators and to do just what she did. That's what they're getting trained, just like the voting rights movement and nonviolent the sit-ins in the 60s and the marches and they were trained. These people weren't just they were trained to agitate, and the goal was to be arrested. Now, I hope that the goal in her case was not to have been killed, but that's they're playing with fire though.
Well, considering what they've been going through ever since this stuff started, I mean, naturally, law enforcement is going to be right there on the ragged edge. They got to look behind them. They got to look around them. They got to look above them. Because, like I say, people by now they done got ignorant. We are raising ignorant people. Plain and simple. Now, if you like I say, you going down the road and you make any of that little lane change or whatever, then a policeman may pull them behind you. If they give you the right guy ahead, the gas on it, they go down the interstate, they get 100, 120, 130 mile an hour. They danger everybody else just because you don't want to give your damn traffic ticket. I'm going to get the damn ticket.
These guys, all they want to do is win an argument and be right and have their way. They're like grown-up spoiled children, brats. They're grown-up brats.
I agree with you. They raise stupid kids. Plain and simple. And let me change the course thing, because up there in Wisconsin, those Somalian illegals, they're not supposed to be here. You know, who brought them people in here? Hillary Clinton. He's the main person that bring them people in. Whatever the hell that dang woman's name is. He's sitting back here down in Congress. Well, like I say, Hillary Clinton, them rich dang on Democrats, they get the dang on means to screw things up. And I don't give a rat's patootie by hell who says different. Every time that woman come down here, by this whole dang on town out of here, bow down and kiss her butt. Hey, you ain't gonna see this one do it.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you. You have a good weekend. Yep. Thank you so much. Let's take this break before the top of the hour break with Fox. I'll be back with more right after this.
We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC in Selma, serving the area for 80 years. And it's a brand new year, Barry.
That's right, George. It's hard to believe that 2026 is here, but we're ready to kick it off and get it started.
Mm-hmm.
So we invite you to come down and see us in the market for a new Chevrolet or GMC. We have got the inventory from trucks, from your small trucks all the way up to the heavy duty. Same thing with your SUVs, whatever you're looking for when it comes to a new Chevrolet or GMC, we invite you to come by and see us.
Of course, when you're talking about new Chevrolets and new GMCs, you've got to be talking about everything from the Trax to the Equinox, right?
And that is correct, and all the way up to the Yukons and Tahoes, Suburbans, Yukon XLs. Folks, whatever you're looking for when it comes to a new Chevrolet or GMC, we invite you to come by and see us.
Barry, when you're talking about reliable, you're talking about great service with just about any name brand that needs service. You can do it all except for warranty work on the non-GM brands, right?
That's right. Warranty or recalls we can do on non-GM product, but everything else from oil change, tire rotation, new tires, brake batteries, belt hoses, transmission, engine, whatever you're driving, we want to do your service work right here. And George, don't forget about the free oil change when you get to that fifth oil change. We want to get to know you and your family. We want you to become part of the Reliable family here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC, located in downtown Selma, 14 Florence Street. Stop by and see us or give us a call at 872-2337 or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com.
1490 WHBB. And to go back to Congresswoman Sewell, these are the numbers. 205,059,000 for the National Park Service Historic Preservation Fund. 24 million for competitive grants to preserve the sites and stories of the Civil Rights Movement, and 11 million for grants to HBCUs historic preservation projects. She's doing her job. I would rather see her involved in, even if she is on and has positions I don't agree with, I would rather see her do her job as a lawmaker than to be trying to make a rap video. Instead of taking the money the taxpayers are paying her, making a rap video or dancing or rapping, she's come up with, let's see, 205, 230, $240 million to make a difference. I would rather see somebody voting for that and creating an atmosphere for bipartisanship than doing a rap video, huh? But anyway, I'm not going to go there. When I start and I go down that path, they say I'm being negative. I'm hating on black folk. Anyway, let me see. Oh, I got to take this break, and then we're going to go into the news, and I got to let our next guests in who have arrived, and I'll be back with more after this.
Outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
1490 WHBB Selma. It is 9 o'clock. See you on the other side of the news. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? You're doing all right?
I heard you talking about that situation with
Minneapolis? Yeah. Yes, unfortunately. That was crazy. I'm almost sure that I'm on, we are on live audio. I missed the cable. I don't want to say, let me do this. No, I know what you're saying.
it's been crazy. I told Black Woman, I heard you talking about, man, it's not the end of it.
No, this is just the beginning. Like you say, this is.
I've seen history too much.
No, you know, yeah. See, you know, that's what I'm talking about.
When I think it's gone.
But if you're a student of history, you're gonna see things a little different, you know, and not be so gullible to all these different narratives. It's big money and big business.
7% of the drugs coming in by water. And we are going to start now hitting.
It's been here for years. They could have fixed that years ago.
But they've been saying they were having a war on drugs, haven't they? Well, they never had one before. Now we got one and they low. We don't want that. Well, no, yeah, well, that's unfortunate, and that's what I said. But she put herself in that position, though. You know, she shouldn't. No, I saw it from two different angles. But there's another angle that shows that she was trying to run him over. Can't see it from the side. Yeah, she was about to run him over.
He was standing in front of her.
Yeah. So he was defending himself, and he had just the same thing had happened to him during the summer, and he was dragged down the street for a couple of blocks.
And you're right. Remember I told you I said we didn't see all the gun. But the point was that there's only one person that's shot in the front. You see what I'm saying? Right. So mentally, he's not asking. In other words, do you need to kill him first? Because you have to wait for the shoot at the time. See right there, I'm like, where your tires? Right. You just shut the tires right there.
Both of them numbers, I don't know, because I'm not a law enforcement person. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, but that's two things I saw.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I saw the same thing. Until I saw the other end.
He's trying to get this out of the wall. It was a spur of the moment thing.
That's what it looked like.
You know, yeah, because when he, you know, in a way you could say he reacted too fast.
I think he may have, that's possible, but you know, but again, we're not thinking of, we got to think about what led up to that. We're only seeing a 30-second.
That's what I'm saying too. I don't know what she had.
What she had. No, I understand she was leading the whole caravan of cars to stop them from being able to do whatever they're doing. But if the guys were not here illegally, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Well, she not even here.
No, she was not. No, she's supporting the movement.
But in the car, how many people in that car that was illegal? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to be the proof of. No, that's what they're going to bring.
Well, they're going to investigate. So, I don't like the second guess those guys. I don't know what they're doing.
I got it. But here's the proof of it.
Yeah.
The guy that was speaking, he basically said the whole point was that
There are no
He's immunity.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Why
not say that the proof that they've already saw that there was proof that he was trying to be killed or whatever the case may
I
be.
think it depends on what you watch, because each media group is reporting something different.
Okay, good.
And they're showing, I'm saying, yeah, I did. You're saying something different from what some of the other networks are saying. We're all saying something different because we're seeing something different, and that's part of the problem with the narrative. 1490 WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning. We're back, and we're back up on YouTube. Guys, this has been my season for mechanical problems. Anything mechanical has been, oh my Lord, oh boy. Yeah, we're on. Yeah, our guests have joined us this morning, Reverend Michael Bowen and Brother Kaleem Muhammad. How you guys doing this morning?
It's wonderful.
Bring your microphone over.
Randy, we just a blessing to be here, present in the studio, WHBB. Mr. Randy Williams, thank you so much.
Well, this week I've been playing some of Dr. King's speeches, and we need to be. I'm reminded of what he was really about in terms of his philosophy, and I think too many of us have forgotten he was dedicated to nonviolence.
Exactly.
I had a caller ask me this week the difference. What did I think that he and President Trump would agree on? My first response was anti-war, but then I had to think about that thing. No, Dr. King was anti-violence.
Right.
He was nonviolence. And could you be in a position as a president or a governor or even a mayor or a police chief, and even if we have Christian values and religious values, if there's a criminal coming down the street creating a mass shooting event, do I bow down and say, peace, brother, and let him shoot everybody, or do I take him out?
Exactly.
Take them out.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're all right when we stop somebody from hurting other folks.
Exactly.
But if I want to win an argument, but anyway, so you know what I'm saying. Dr. King was about nonviolence.
Exactly.
These new groups are not nonviolent.
Yeah.
They're perpetrators.
Right. Well,
they're agitators.
We are speaking here at the St. David Center. We're speaking the same thing, Randy. We're speaking nonviolence. Of course, we've been doing this myself and Brother Kaleem Muhammad for 20-something years, and we continue to do it, whether on the street corner, whether in the jailhouse, whether in the prison, whether in the courtroom. We're the only organization that we know of that follows our people from the street to the schoolyard to the jailhouse to the prison compound. In fact, we just got done in the graduation class of Alabama Pardons and Parole on the 19th of December, graduating 54 inmates, so-called inmates. They graduated from that program, went on with their lives. Okay, so we all about nonviolence. In fact, let me interject this right quick. Last year, one of the reasons why we are here, of course, we speak so highly of gun violence. We're totally against gun violence. Last year in the city of Selma, the 2025, we lost 15 people to gun violence.
Goodness, that's pretty
high.
high.
Prior to 2025, 2024, we lost 10 people to gun violence. The last 2 years are 25 people. Of course, we don't want to go back 10, 15 years. That's disaster. That's crazy stuff. That's 300-400 people to gun violence. So that's why we're here. We continue to do this work. Muhammad?
Thank God. I'm just thanking God for being here. I just thank God for being alive, with my situation, whatever. But nevertheless, being in America at this point in time, even in a situation where I know from history where we come from, Alabama, from America. I can't really say
in Africa. I got you.
From Africa.
Yeah.
But I still think that nevertheless, I have been blessed no matter what the situation I'm in. I understood and understand how we overcome or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
And what we still dealing with the situation right now is that no matter what, we got to turn to Almighty God from saying, and I'm trying to get all religious, whatever like that, but I have to be.
Well, that's the problem is, and I brought this up earlier in the week because the thought occurred to me. My question is this: we're dealing with political correctness, but the difference between, in my opinion, between political correctness of the '60s and now is political correctness then was spiritually based.
Exactly.
The conscience of America, the conscience of the United States Senate and the United States Congress. Remember, in 1965, there were no black senators.
Right.
Period. There was one black congressman, Adam Clayton Powell. Now, do you think his one vote passed the Voting Rights Act? We don't want to think about that. And as far as that's concerned, how in the world did Barack Obama get elected? You think 10% of the population, African Americans, elected Barack Obama? Half of them didn't vote for him. So that's what I mean. The narratives are not matching up with the facts and the reality, and people would have us be retarded.
Right.
And so many of us have become retarded politically, and that's a problem. And Attorney Yusuf Salam was here yesterday. And the question that I asked, and he agreed, we make the same observation. We've learned how to campaign and win elections, but have we learned how to govern?
No.
Have you learned how to fill the potholes in the street and have decent water, a healthy drinking water, and sidewalks, and then helping businesses prosper? I want to do a rap video. I want to show how well I can entertain. Send in the clowns. Send in the clowns.
Exactly.
No, don't govern. Send in the clowns. And that's what I'm concerned about. We've lost. That's not why people didn't march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in 1965 for a national elected official to be able to get in front of a TV screen and rap.
Right. Exactly.
Legislate.
I remember seeing that sign that hands that pick cotton.
Oh yeah, pick presidents. Yep.
I remember seeing that other noticeable sign with Dr. King sitting down there as President Johnson signed that bill.
Right.
And the only other black person, to my recollection, was Ralph Abernathy standing beside Dr. King.
You had Ralph Abernathy, and you had the big seven, the seven black leaders, A. Philip Randolph, and a few others were in the room, but they weren't in that photograph you're talking about. Right. Well, another thing I said was that the tragedy for me with Dr. King and President Johnson. President Johnson and President Kennedy before him did a lot, and Senator Robert Kennedy did a lot to help the movement and did a lot to help Dr. King.
Exactly.
But when King made a speech a year to the date from the day he was assassinated in 1967 in New York, his stand against the Vietnam War.
Right.
And I believe that is when President Johnson pulled his protection and support.
Right.
See, to me, that's tragic because they had such a good relationship.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the movies said.
What I like to do, Randy, that's so good. There's a bunch of history. I was looking at something by a gentleman that have the EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative, Mr. Byron Stevenson, the guy that wrote the book there that made him so big, Just Mercy, with his situation in Monroe County, Alabama.
Wow.
With Mr. What's that guy's name? That guy that got accused wrongfully.
I forgot his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Walter Macmillan. Okay. What he said, he gives some statistics in the book. He said 30%, if you have a congregation, it don't have to be a church. If you have a gathering of people, anywhere from 35 to 50 people there, 31.5% of those people have people that's incarcerated. Okay?
Wow.
In some form, either on probation, even on parole. And what has happened, you have no one in that setting that actually minister to those people. While those people have incarcerated people, and those people are coming home because not everybody's been given a life sentence.
I know that's right. You got 5, 10, 15 years.
So
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You only prepare for those people when they come home. Now you want to know why they acting like that. Well, see what happened. You preach so much of Jesus, you never got to the level to minister to your usher's son or your deacon's daughter. You so high up, you way up in the sky. You like an airplane.
You never got the practical
exactly.
aspect,
But there's some needs down here that you need to minister to.
And Jesus told us that.
Yeah.
Jesus said, he said that have you clothed the naked?
And this is one of the things, Randy, that we do believe in studying the moves and stuff of our people in our community that happens to take place because we are so high up. We forget that there's a place here that you need to connect with your people. You need to connect with your people. You don't even know if your people got lights in their house. You don't even know if your people got running water.
Right.
You don't even know if your people got a good washing machine because you're way up in the sky.
Yep.
Except the Catholics now.
Well, yeah, now you know that's what the Ammonites are
That's
doing.
what we need to set the example.
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to get you, any kind of religion or whatever like that.
No.
But the whole point is whether Muslim, Jews, or whatever, of whatever reason why they do it, I don't know. That's between them and their God.
Right.
But the point is that it got to be done. Now I know some other things from history and all this stuff like that.
Let's take that for a minute. Let's take that point. Let's dissect that from a practical standpoint. We know that in the United States, that the tax code says that if a church is a nonprofit organization and they don't get taxed. Exactly. And the same thing is true with Islam, any religious organization. And so from a business standpoint, the only thing that the main thing that a minister of any of the religions has to invest in is scripture. Yeah. Either buy a Bible or a Quran. Now that couldn't cost over $100. Most of the time you can get them for free. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the next thing would be a building. But even if I didn't want to do a building, I could do a street corner ministry. But the point is, if I'm running a business, I've got to get all of that done first. I got to get the rent or buy the building. I got utilities, and taxes. Religious organizations don't have to do that, and that's why. So that they can take that benefit that they have, financial benefit, and take the same money where they would have been taxed and use it to help people.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, we forget about a lot of the practical aspect, but I think a lot of this stuff is being driven by popularity. And not only do I want to win an argument, but I want to be in the limelight. Right. And we're not worried about the basic, as you've explained. The basic people have needs.
Exactly.
If you can't read and write, you're out the game.
Right.
You may not have much of a choice but to live a life of crime. Right. Unless you figured out a legal way, like some of our from the way back third grade education people, but they could read and write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They knew how to. By the time they got out of the third grade, they could read and write.
We had the sister Randy that called in the last time we was on the show. The young lady wrote the book. May go to prison or whatever with her mother.
Yeah, I've heard from her
mother
too.
And her father couldn't read and write. And when she says things to encourage them, they actually got some attitude. You see, that's the repercussions of not being able to read or write.
Right.
So you get very defensive.
Right.
See, because you want your kid know that they know more than you.
Right.
So
I got you.
Defensive now.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, we can't get. The problem is that we're not communicating with each other. Okay, we not having this conversation with each other. If you notice, we just said since we talking about gun violence, that's our thing. That's what we do. We talk about violence. Period.
Right.
That's the situation. The last murder in the city of Selma. From what we heard is all hearsay now. The young man asked the young man, "Oh, can you move your car?" He said, "No, this is my space," and he couldn't get into a conversation. So one person ended up killing the other person.
Just pull out your gun and shoot. That's how you solve the problem.
So we are not communicating. We only do this when it's necessary. From the time you smile, I looked at something, because this is one of our problems too. I looked at something the other day on the internet. Do you know the two largest countries in the world, India and Russia, the most populated countries in the world, India and China?
In China.
Both 1.something billion.
Right.
Okay, I think China just took over from India. Do you know that the vote rate is less than 2%?
Well, they've got a common culture. Although India, I don't know if they're still practicing the caste system or not. But they do.
The divorce rate here among black folks,
50%.
It's 50-something%.
Yeah.
So the chances are you get married tomorrow, Randy, you might not make it for the end of the year.
Because I'm marrying for the wrong reasons. I'm marrying her because she looks good and I like the way she's shaped. And I think we can do this and bump and bump and bump. I ain't thought about it. We can, but can we talk?
Well, we don't communication.
We don't communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Do I even know anything that you're about? I won't find out until after that first year of us being together. When that wears off, then we got a problem.
I didn't get your point there. Just before I lose my mind, I read this other day. Same thing from no matter who religion, whether Muslim, Christian, or whatever. Don't get our group in the church or whatever. You know what I mean? So no matter what, I think that the religious people, they got to come back to the point of getting back to their basis or whatever.
Right.
You know, that, okay, if you religion, Christian or whatever like that, you know that God tells you how to marry, first of all.
Right.
You know, and then even though the rest of the world will go this way right here, you still got to do what you know.
Stay focused.
You know, and then even so that the rest of the world going messed up and everything, let's say going for the, you know, the east, you know, whatever way, as long as they're holding to what they supposed to, it may be a chance that you may be able to open up a new, I can't use all these words like I used to got messed up.
Sorry. No, I got you. We
but
understand
you'll
what
be
you're
able to make the thing blow up or whatever like that. When you just smart, you know, it's like anything. Like Christianity started small and blew like that, same situation. So at one time, we may face it, Almighty God, no matter who you are, religion or whatever, but you're doing the right thing, you know. Let's do that for thing, you know.
No,
like here in Selma, what we talking about?
Yeah.
I said we can start Selma when we, you know, I've been saying that, Brother Boy, before I got sick or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start in Selma, and we can blow this thing up in Selma for this crime and everything like that. Because ain't no way possible we should be killing each other over this stuff like that, or not even feel. I'm gonna say this one thing. Shut up.
Over a parking spot.
Yeah, and we should not be in a situation where all we got to do is crime, or even feel that we need to do that. We need to be religious people. Right. I'm saying, and then God will bless us. I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Well, that's why that's how the progress was made. It was made when we were practicing that, you know. And I would suggest to people, if we just read the Sermon on the Mount, that's enough.
I want to say this. I'm gonna be through. I'm gonna
no, go ahead.
In Saudi Arabia, a friend of mine about 20 years ago, he said, "Man, we went to the court, and I left a whole bag full of money. And what he did, no, he went to pray. That's what it was. He forgot whatever he was doing, but he set it down on the floor. And guess what happened over there? Nobody touched all that money. And this other country, this is the mindset I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with us. I'm saying now, if a people from another religion,
you better not close your eyes.
So what I'm saying, this brother left that, and then he came back about 30 years later, to pray and everything like that. And the people he saw people stepping about the money, and I gotta get them on my God. You know, I ain't want to get nowhere near this.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that we got to be God-fearing people here in Selma, you know, in the church or whatever you want to call it, the mosque or whatever like that. I ain't saying we will be perfect. I ain't saying be angels. But what I'm saying, we got to be people like that who fear Almighty God, knowing that God wants you to love your brothers or whatever like that, love your people. So I'm through with that. Okay, I think we got the point. Y'all get the message.
No, that's right. Well, you know, so many of us have gotten caught up in the system, in materialism, and we're up to our noses in debt. You know, we can't afford the lifestyle that we have, but we're trying to compete with the Joneses. Now, my question, and I think the central part for me now is, why is it important to have marches and caravans? Why is this march from Brown Chapel to the Edmund Pettus Bridge important on Dr. King's?
Well, it's important because we still trying to live the life and legacy celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King. One of the things that happened, if you notice in Dr. King March, I'm coming back to your point, that we had people of all denominations. We have people of all colors.
Right.
As we crossed the bridge, it may not have started out with us. I think just a handful of
but the second and the third march.
Right.
You know, we had people that were affluent, had money, power, everything else to put their lives on the line.
And
white.
So we believe we could come into that agreement. See, when we're not connected, meaning that we're not in agreement. If we were in agreement, Randy, with the things that we're talking about and the belief mechanism that we talk about stopping the violence, we talking about we not communicating.
Right.
We communicating Sunday morning. Okay.
Some of us aren't communicating then.
Right. We communicating with what's before us.
Right.
But once we leave out of that Sunday morning, we forget all about you need to connect with these people. That's why I heard Byron Stevenson, Just Mercy, Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery. I heard him said that in his book. He said if the 31% of your congregation, whether you have 50 or 35 or 50 people, see what I'm saying, needs to notice Because the 31% are incarcerated. We done parole, probation, some form of incarceration.
Right.
See, and you need to minister to those people. You need to speak to those people because those people could be very effective one way or the other in your community once they get home.
So you're talking about being proactive.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to react. We need
so
to be
go
proactive.
back to your question. When we could come together, we got. I don't want to call everybody name, but we got people like Dr. Nathan Knight that walked with Dr. King, SCLC. He's coming as our keynote speaker. He's a man coming to tell you about nonviolence in a hurry. He's not taking all day. He don't need no seminar.
So in other words, he lived it.
Yes, right. He's coming. He spoke to me about 3-4 times this past month. Okay, he's coming with a congregation of his people to follow him around the world, not around the nation, around the world.
Right.
He continued to do the work that he started with Dr. King when he was 11 years old. So I'm saying your question was asked, what can it benefit? Our people have to be there. We got to come out. And when we come out, be supportive of each other, these are things that happen.
So we need a revival, is what it sounds. We need a revival. We need to revive our spirits and recommit to the fact, for those of us to accept that there is a God. I know there are folks out there who are atheists, but they're only atheists until they get in trouble. And when they get in trouble, oh, Jesus. I said, oh, wait a minute. I thought you didn't believe in God. Don't be calling on Jesus now.
Get to pray and everything.
One nation, one dream. Safe Haven Center presents, now this is the 26th anniversary of Stop the Violence rally. Dr. Martin Luther King Day marching caravan, and we talked about the caravan because we got a motorcycle, a group is coming, and they want to participate because, during the COVID, we had a face cover. A lot of people decided they didn't want to be marching, they want to be walking, they want to be in their cars. Okay, marching Monday, January the 19th, which is always the third Monday in January, celebrating Dr. King's birthday, which is the 15th of January. Okay, from Brown Chapel to Edmund Pettus Bridge. Now, we got a band that's going to be at the foot of the bridge. We got activities going on at the foot of the bridge while the march is being taken place. So we will join them there. We have a stage that's being set up. So we asking you whether you're here
to turn out, to come out.
To come on out. Come on out. Support, man. We are asking you, if you feel like giving a donation, it's fine.
Even if you don't walk all the way or drive all the way, meet you at the foot of the bridge.
Right.
At the end of be there for the program.
We want to give a shout out right quick, Randy. We want to give a shout out to our friend, our judge, the Circuit Court Judge Collins Petway. We want to give a shout out to him, Doc. We with you. Our prayers are with you. And also, we want to give a shout out of encouragement to the city council and our new mayor that I believe will do a tremendous job in the city itself.
Well, you just brought the city council up starting Thursday. We will have members from this next Thursday coming in to report on what has happened in the city council, the previous city council meeting.
Right.
And so that's a good thing because transparency and letting people know what in the world is going on.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but our elected official people in Selma, I'm not criticizing them. And when I'm well, I can compete with them, no matter who they are, I'll be able to argue them. Yeah. But the point is, to the heart, I want you to touch the people, and I want God to touch the people, Now, of course, if you're talking to a brother, that's like Nancy talking about God and everything.
Well, that's the whole point.
But the whole point. Here's our people who elected officials. They got to understand, and this is why I say we got to understand when you talk about earlier what we got to govern, govern.
Have we learned how to govern?
We got to go to the people where they are, not just this right here, but for religious understanding too. Go to the people. If you can tell the people heart, that hey, we got to stop this. We got to do better than this. Not just Brother Bowen and me. I don't care about doing this. I can't speak that well this weekend because I've been messed up. I don't care. All the elected officials, they can come here and speak from for concern. Right. And tell the people, look, sit there, Selma. I'm here to tell you all, we can make Selma a better place. We can do better. Now you see that I can speak like this, of course, being a songwriter and everything like that, a writer and everything. I can do that when I get better from my heart. Right. But I'm doing it for the sake that Selma got to wake up.
Older brother Muhammad, I say to piggyback off of what you just said. I believe every elected official.
No, he's trying to say what I'm trying to say. Good.
I'm going on record and saying this. every elected official needs to be at this march.
Amen.
You done lost 25 people, 25 lives being lost.
In 2 years.
Gun violence in 2 years. Wow. Over 200 in the last 10, 12 years. And you got some other engagement to go on the 19th of January. Someone told me, and I don't want to go into name calling, they already booked for the 19th of January. You booked, but you here. You the city council here in the city of Selma.
Well, you know, I don't know if you plan to give each if the
Each one of
elected
them got an invitation, a personal invitation.
Let them speak for 2 minutes, maybe.
If you come, you don't have to worry about that. That's a done deal. You can have the microphone. You can be able to address what you're doing.
This doesn't make them to the point where they can be elected. What we did, what about this man here? See what I'm saying? Hell, they couldn't even get elected right then. You know, that's the craziness of it.
We are saying to you, we support you. Our prayers is with the city of Selma, with the mayor, with every city council person. That's in fact. When we started this, none of you all was elected. When we started this movement here, there's not a city council person that was sitting up there. I think Michael Johnson got there right after. Michael Johnson, right? I think he got there right after. But just think about this. We've been doing this longer than you even dreamed of being in the city council.
Well, you know, again, we have to find ways to, I'm hoping that, I think you build momentum when people turn out. Well, if the marches weren't important, then why is it that they're trying to set Minneapolis on fire?
Right.
Why are they paying? Why are they paying? Just like one of the callers asked me earlier, they proved that on this Day of the King, where they were protesting against Donald Trump. It turns out the major billionaires had paid the 7 million people to march.
7 million.
That means they put a lot of money into that. The estimate was 7 million nationwide. You know, but where are those 7 million now? Are those 7 million people asking to stop the violence?
Right.
Are they involved in any kind of a meaningful anti-violent move? No. You know, but the point is, if these billionaires thought it was important enough to pay people to march, then we ought to be able to, on our own, come out and march.
Especially in this city.
Of all the places in the world, we've gotten apathetic, and many of us don't see the need for it. Right. You know, when
until there's a relative involved.
Until there's a crisis.
Yeah, the right word, a crisis.
You know, that's the only thing that gets us out now. Usually,
then you want the whole city to be praying for your son or your daughter.
Well, then it's
once
too
you
late.
Come out, you all are not concerned.
Then it's too late.
But you had an opportunity to do this. Right. You could encourage somebody else.
Without vision, the people perish.
Exactly.
You talk religious stuff. I heard from now. I know my mind still messed up when Jesus talked to people that how you supposed to been with me and when I came, and now you got to get out of here. You're not in this heaven like this. I'm saying because you know exactly what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to say.
Go ahead, I'm looking at him like this, Randy. What? This brother has been with me for 26 years. This brother here, man, when I went into the hospital room 8 months ago, the doctor looked at me and said, who you? I said, I'm his brother. He said, well, I got to tell you this. You forget about him talking again.
He won't talk for the rest of his life.
He won't talk again. He says it take a miracle. That's what he told me. Look at this man.
It's a miracle.
All you religious people out there, look at this man now.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, so we encourage each other.
It seems like my brother walk. I didn't even call his name. Because God gives whatever. I said, man, we got to go see that brother, man. When I got out back in the hospital, I said, y'all take me to go see this brother because God blessed me to come back alive. Right. I said, bless this brother to come back. I didn't know his brother was, Wolf. And I said, man, you can do it, man. You can do it.
I see Wolf on pretty. We run into each other a lot. How is Sam doing? I was just thinking about.
He's doing a little better. I like to say he's doing a little better.
Let's say good morning to Sam Walker because he's given a lot. Over the years, with the Voting Rights Museum and other things.
He was one of the first people that I noticed when I first came back to Alabama on the bridge with Reverend Orange.
God bless him.
Reverend Orange.
God bless you, my sister.
Well, look, me and Sam Walker and a few others, I remember the last big trip we made together, we went and picked up Miss Amelia Boynton and took her to Atlanta. So we for an SCLC meeting. That's been years ago. And she gave us she gave us she gave us another perspective on some things.
Yeah.
You know, the people
She
here.
like to say those, get off my shoulders.
Get off my shoulders. You get up and do your own thing.
Yeah.
And then she was even at her age then, she was still very much a woman. She said, they say I'm 108, I'm only 106.
I think she died at 110.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what I'm saying.
We've been blessed with oh my God.
Oh my Lord, she was wonderful. She had a wonderful spirit.
But see, someone, we can't make this happen until you embrace us, until you embrace the situation, until you embrace the crisis. Because we have a crisis in the city of Selma. Now, we've been doing this for 26 years, and we have been hundreds of our young people. I get tired of going to the cemetery and going to the funeral home and going to the prison and going to the jailhouse for our people. City of Selma, wake up, City of Selma. We need to get this done. We need to come out and support this march. We're not asking you for your money. If you got some dollars you want to share with us, sure, we could get some extra t-shirts. We could make some things happen. But we asking you for your presence to be there in the city of Selma.
Also, let me tell you quick, my mind is, if you can't go there and you got to get to another place at a certain time, pass by the place and wave everybody, back or whatever, and let them know that, hey, I'm with you. I will be there. I got to go. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Let the people know that you were there for Selma.
Oh, while I'm thinking about it, let's say good morning to Reverend B.L. Tucker. I always think about Reverend Tucker.
Yeah.
You know, he gave so much.
Oh man,
you know, during that time,
I
and he's still
a couple of weeks ago.
he's still working. He's still at it.
Yeah,
you know.
He
looks good. Yeah. Huh? Let's take this break, and then we'll get into a few more of the details as we begin to wind down this segment, and we'll be back with more after these messages. On this Friday morning, January the 9th, 2026. Yeah, man. So make sure, you know, anything that you want to, the details in terms of people coming out and how you're going to do it.
What's today, the 9th?
9th. So next Friday is the last Friday before the march.
Right.
Now, I don't know, do you guys want to come on that Friday or do you want to come on that Monday?
That Friday, the Monday is the Monday. The Monday
is the Monday of the march.
Busy transporting the stage and stuff.
Right.
But we usually got to go order the U-Haul.
Right.
You think we should do that?
Well, we at least put it in because we don't know. You know.
I think we can go there. You know what I mean? If people are.
Well, no. You need to be focused on making sure you get everything done. Right. You know, and I guess I'll go ahead and work that morning, and then I'll be pushing it.
Okay.
I'll be reminding folks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So we back on?
Not yet. We got a few more minutes. We got another minute.
Yeah, but I forgot my bag because I had an article I was going to show you when I saw you. Because I had the young lady from Birmingham when her son died, Brenda Ward. I got the idea from her. I actually got the idea from Williams when they had all the children died in Atlanta.
Oh my Lord! Yeah, I remember that.
On the front page of Atlanta Journal.
Yeah.
And what I've done this year is the summertime journal racing. They have all these pictures of these people, but don't have names, don't have faces, just be a head.
Right.
Because I spoke with the DA. And you told me that's the best to do because you don't want families.
Well, you have to be careful about that because you could get sued if you.
You have just a head.
Right.
That's a bright picture, but you know it's a head there.
Right.
Yeah. So you got to get an awakening. You need an awakening, man.
Here we go.
Nutrients from your body and stay healthy through this upcoming season. Dr. McBride Drug, 101 Broad Street in
1490 WHBB. And and so we were talking about building the momentum, but also I think what's important is that what do we do after the march?
Yeah.
Having some sort of a blueprint or to be able to encourage people and to give people ideas as to what we can do, because there are a lot of people in pain inside.
Right.
And not just from, like you said, the last 2 years, but if we go 20, 30 years back, there have been a lot of young people who have died from violence. I'm not talking natural causes. We're talking from violence. And probably domestic violence, probably gun violence, but a few of them have been hit with bats. Right. A few of them have been stabbed. I say self-control, not gun control.
Exactly. And the thing is about that is that, again, we don't want to key in no organization, no church, but we're not prepared for that. We don't have any place that our people battle women.
Mhm.
I think we got a few battle women shelter, what have you, but we got to be more prepared to embrace our people, our community. We need to be able to embrace our people. So, you come on over here. We got something already set up for that. We got a group of people.
Well, Governor Ivey just gave $1.15 million to different organizations in South and Central Alabama for shelter and domestic violence.
Right.
If a person can't eat, if they don't have if they choose to have a shelter and they can't get one, nothing that we say is going to mean anything to them. We have to help people in a real sense, And then again, like I said, I know that there's a lot of people in pain. I remember I was at Gospel Tabernacle Church a couple of years ago during the summer and speaking to one of their youth camps, and I think there may have been one or two that were over the age of 13, but most of them were under 12.
Right.
And I don't know how we got into it, but I said, well, raise your hand. If you have a loved one, a relative, a mother, a father, a cousin, a sister, a brother that's been killed by violence,
right?
Raise your hand. 90% of the hands went up.
Raised right up, and
See, but the good news was I could see in their eyes that they still had hope.
Yes.
They were young enough to still have hope. And those are the people that we have to reach out to help them not just have hope, but to give them the skills they need to survive.
Yeah. Well, what has happened, one of the things that's happened, Randy, we find, just like you spoke with those young men.
It was young girls and boys.
We have
boys and
separated
girls.
ourselves from people.
Yeah.
We have done a good job of separating ourselves from people. We have people right now in the community down the street from us. We don't even know who lived there. That house been in the block. Those people moved there 10 years ago. You don't even know that. I'm not saying for you to go over there, shake their hand, and welcome to the
You got to be careful about that too, because you got to find out whose hand you're getting ready to
Who's
shake.
in the house. But it took you 10 years to find out that the green stays in the house right down the block from you, 5 houses away.
Well, we got a lot of corrections that we can probably make to our behavior. But again, whenever I see somebody throw a bag of fast food trash out the window, or a beer bottle, or a liquor bottle, or a diaper, that tells me that's the problem.
I will say one thing, I just realized when you was talking about the violence, how can it affect people? When I was a little kid, I was like my father's, favorite or whatever among all the children or whatever. But in some reason, like my brother counsel would tell you that too. My mom and my dad would argue, violence or whatever like that. And I was so messed up in my mind to see this. What the hell is happening? What religions and God? What the hell is in people's mind that they would be doing something like that?
It has an impact on the
it
child.
does have an effect.
Yeah.
And I said, God, I would never put my kids to this kind of situation.
Right.
I said, even my kids, I might curse them out every now and then.
No.
But I said, I would never go to that point where my kids got to deal with the point like I was affected.
I'm like you. Look,
Yeah.
I've witnessed domestic violence, but I've never hit a woman in my life. In fact, I take that back. I flipped the girl once because she was trying to hit me, and my mother saw me, and she beat my butt. I said I was trying to defend myself. I never had to hit a woman. I never, because what happened really, I think that when you allow yourself to go down to that level and to the animal level, you've lost the battle.
Exactly, and that's what we see. I'm not talking about over there in the east side, over there like that or whatever. We got to realize that that we got to be whole, in our holes or whatever like that.
Right.
And if God, and we know that slavery and all that kind of stuff, the messes, all that.
Everybody's going through something. Though.
Even when we was born slaves, we was in violence or whatever like that. But the point is, when you've been made whole by Almighty God, I don't care what you are saying, what religion you are.
Right.
You telling me that God made you something different and made you a better person, something. That's why I had to realize, oh, something got to be better than this.
Well,
dog.
now, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because yesterday, again, Attorney Salam, that's what we were talking about, how, some people, we used Trump as an example, that when the new mayor of New York, the Muslim mayor, met with Trump in Washington, he wasn't attacking. They didn't have to attack each other. They had, they were cordial because he had nothing to prove.
Yeah.
And then, like for a long time, there's been that narrative in Selma that says in order for you to be a black, we judge our black leaders based upon how many white folks you disagree with. If you disagree with white folks, you're a leader. Never mind whether or not you're wrong as to elections. That's ignorance, right? But that's the problem. See, so I don't have anything to prove. I know who I am.
Exactly.
I'm a man.
It's like last week, and I'm saying Detroit. The governor.
Right.
Remember I said good things about her? I said she'll be, from my understanding of history,
right.
They will write her as the best
governor
in Alabama.
Right.
And who else can touch that?
She's done a lot of
so
great
now
things.
she's white.
Right.
She's a Republican.
And she's a woman.
She's a woman. So Brother Muhammad, how in the hell can you say something like that? Right. Because I understand history. Right. So you can argue. Come go and argue that.
On the subject, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Sheriff Grantham, who I heard is going to resign.
I'm glad that he has chosen health over service, right? Because he's done an excellent job serving this community. Sheriff Mike Grantham, he decided he's not going to run for a third term, and the main reason, he said it was health and finances. People don't understand. It takes a lot of money to run a campaign. Yeah. And he's not 20 years old anymore. Right,
you know what I mean?
So, but I want to say this to all my dealers with him. I say this now, with Sheriff Grantham, of course, I've been knowing him for about, my Lord, about 20-something years. Long time, way before he became sheriff.
Right.
Yeah. And everything at the county jail, anything to do with the county jail, he always takes his hand up. He said, hey, let run boom.
Because you're legitimate. Yeah. See, because you got some people out there who are scamming. Right. And who are running game. Right. And who are running a con game. Right. To raise money.
The white guy?
You know what I mean?
I said that. The white guy?
Yeah.
We voted him?
Yeah.
No. For real?
Sheriff Grantham. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Brother. Good
one time, Randy. Yeah. I had a thing. I called him up.
Thank you,
I had a personal cell number. Right. He said, call me anytime.
Yeah. I like Sheriff Grantham, and he's a real law and order public servant, and Selma in county has been blessed with his leadership.
Yeah. When we was talking with him one time, I said, man, I'm trying to sense in the game from you, man. When we sitting talking to him, I said, I'll be able to catch that from him, but I couldn't. I kept the real thing about you.
Well,
now, everybody got their own game, but I said, man, you so damn good, man.
I disagree with him a few things already.
Right.
You are a real brother.
That's the way it is.
Because a lot of times we wanted to see people that was transported here to go to court and stuff, and I was not able, I don't want to go into call their names, but I was not able to see those people. And I realized it was basically for my protection as much as it was for their protection.
Well, like I said, I remember when I went the last time I went through training, because I'm a fatherhood initiative. I'm a facilitator.
Yeah.
I'm licensed. I'm a licensed fatherhood initiative facilitator. Yeah. But and the reason why I had gotten into it really was because I wanted to go into the prisons and help people, learn how to read and write. Right. But then the rules changed. Yeah. And, as they take you through that training, you don't just walk into a prison. Yeah. You need to know what in the world is going on because they run a game too. Exactly. You got to watch, there's a lot of different things.
Myself and Muhammad was conducting classes there, fatherhood initiative classes. And those people, oh man, they was getting ready to go up the road. So lots of time.
Well, I got you. I hear you. I hear you. So you stayed on the wall. Yeah. And I didn't have that kind of time. Yeah. And so, but I did make the effort. Exactly. And I do know the procedure. Exactly. So I think Sheriff Grantham is a law and order. He's an excellent law enforcement official. Yeah. And they have rules. Yeah. And some of those rules are good rules.
Well, your job is never easy because we always have disagreement. All those people wants to go to the jail, come to the jail, do this in the jail. Well, you know, he's got to
Well,
protect.
look at the number of people they catch with contraband.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are just crazy. Why am I going? I'm gonna throw a pack of about a carton of cigarettes and cell phones over the wall.
Yeah.
And I know you got cameras looking at me. You know, then when you catch me, I got a dime bag of reefer on me. You know, and who knows, it's in powder, cocaine, and who knows what else. And why am I gonna come to jail like that?
And then someone else innocent getting hurt behind that.
Well, that's usually what happens.
What came into the prison or the
You
jail.
know, so we don't. That's what I mean. We don't think the people perish for the lack of vision and the lack of knowledge. You know, and so we got to find a way to reach those folks.
Well, the people of Selma is not for the lack of knowledge. They're very knowledgeable of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're knowledgeable of this march.
Right.
They're knowledgeable of what the march represents.
And you just have to keep it in front of them. All we can do is hope for the best.
Right.
Hopefully the weather will be good enough not to be a deterrent, you know, but you know, like I said, people do what they want to do, you know, regardless of what the conditions are.
What happens if Dr. King was to parachute right back now into Selma?
Yeah. Oh, they're coming in.
What would be your answer, Randy?
I don't know.
What would be your answer? You're standing before Dr. King with all his legacy, with all his life, with all his suffering.
I'd have to,
what would you say to
I don't
Dr.
know.
King?
All my religious beliefs would be challenged.
Right.
But notice from the so-called religion, if Jesus come back to Selma.
Now, when Jesus comes, that's different.
But look at those so-called people who supposed to be religious,
right?
And supposed to be, I've been doing all about you or whatever.
Yeah. No, they're not ready for that.
Look what I'm saying.
They're not ready.
So evidently they are not ready. I helped the people. They was going and shooting each other or whatever like that. Yeah. I came to help them, Lord. I was with them, at the Pebble Bridge, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe some of us Maybe some of us don't make the connection and don't think that if we march or participate in some kind of an activity, that it's going to make a difference. We need to be able to connect the dots.
Or unless it was like, you know, you could deal with it if it was hidden from you. Like several years ago, we took chartered a bus into, Philadelphia, Mississippi, where
the three were killed.
Where the three were killed, so that's workers. Right. And we had an appointment with the mayor, incumbent mayor, who was the first black mayor of that period.
My goodness.
And he said that he was in high school before he found out about the three civil rights workers being killed.
And right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's the kind of thing you don't want to admit to, probably.
Because his parents never mentioned that.
Wow.
No one mentioned.
Well, a lot of people were hidden. And when I was a child, racism didn't even exist in my mind, in our household. I didn't even know about racism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now that because they protected us from, you know what I'm saying? Now, I know they were catching hell. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and then it depends on where you were too. Right. But the point is, everything is not always through a prism of race. I
was right there in Selma, First Avenue South and Union, between the white and the black neighborhood when I was a little kid. And this what messed my mind when saying to start looking at things a little different. The white neighborhood. Me and my brothers, we always walk down in the street in the neighborhood and look at the nice houses, whatever. Yeah. I like to be like this and like that. Yeah. And I never had white people call me nigger and all this stuff. I have never. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. And that's what I said. God must have took my mind and be protective of that, because had I been like a person who might think, who they think Malcolm X is or something like that, I have been, and I told my son, I said, had I been in slavery, I told my kid the other day, I said, God would have blessed me to the point I would burn the whole damn house up. I said, all them slaves, they would have burnt the cells and in the back room. I would have burnt the whole damn house up. But I said, God touched my heart to the point that I did not see their situation in this small situation, and I was able to look at something bigger. So that's what I'm trying to say, if people say, why the hell he said it on TV? No, because I say my heart.
Well, Proverbs talks about how, it is very difficult for a former slave to rule, to come into power, and not be bitter and be vengeful. And that is the risk. That's the gamble. Most people will go to their, again, that animal nature and I want to make you pay for what happened to my people 100 years ago. But a person,
well, people doing that today, Randy. You don't have to go to slave mentality. People are doing that today.
That is a slave
Something
mentality.
happened 20 years ago.
Right.
You forgot to open the door for his wife. You were disrespected 20 years ago.
And you haven't forgotten.
This is still ringing a bell in his ear. So we got to learn how to let things go. We be like the frog in the commercial. Let it go.
Well, and again, I keep going back to Proverbs, and Proverbs it's written in Proverbs, out of the heart flow the issues of life.
Right.
If I keep a watch on my heart.
And the flip side of that, as a man thinking,
so is he.
So you got to forget those things, man. You got, because you could leave out of here any second, Randy.
Oh, we don't. There's a bunch of us are leaving. We're leaving old and young and old. Let's take this last break, and then we're going to get on out of here. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Okay, we can go with our march here. But we're gonna definitely come back, Randy.
Next Friday, same time, 9 o'clock.
We push it to Montgomery, we push it, so prayerfully,
we'll see. Then you have to just, all you can do is just put it out there and let people make a choice. You can't force them. You can lead them to the water. You can't make them drink.
Right.
That's the way it is. And somebody might be offended by that, but it's true.
Oh yeah.
Lead them to the water.
You can't make them drink.
Even though they're thirsty?
No, can't make them drink.
Oh, Randy, come on, man.
No, I'm too jealous. I don't want to see you do well. So even if I'm thirsty and hungry, I'll die first.
You're right.
I'll commit suicide than to see you do well. That's sickness. Yeah. 1490 WHBB, Reverend Bowen and Brother Muhammad. So what we got? What we got coming up on Monday, January 19th?
Monday, January 19th. One Nation, One Dream. Safe Haven Center presents the 26th anniversary Stop the Violence Rally. Dr. King, Martin Luther King Day, Junior Day, March and Caravan. So if you got in your car and you feel like you got a situation that you'd rather prefer to be in your automobile, you're welcome to do that. Because of the COVID-19 situation, we have folks taken to the automobiles from Brown Chapel Church, and we got to start lining up about 11:30. Because the police department told me that the sergeant told me that the last time the march started at 12:30. So he said we were actually waiting on some people to get there.
Right.
So precisely, we have to leave
At
the
12
church
o'clock.
at 12 o'clock, coming to the bridge.
Right.
Okay, so we encourage you to come out and support us. And let's tell our stories, and definitely if you have lost someone to gun violence. A reminder, in 2025, we lost 15 people to gun violence. In 2024, we lost 10 people to gun violence. Put them together, that's 25 people we have lost in the last 2 years. So let's come out and, make our voices, let our voices be heard.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's sad. And again, there's a lot of people in pain, and everybody, have different ways to deal with mourning.
Exactly.
But when you get around other people who have gone through the same thing, that can be therapeutic sometimes. And this is another event that is promoting peace and love.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that may help. You may hear something that will lift your spirit.
Our keynote speaker, Dr. Nathan Knight, he's coming all the way from Atlanta. This young man was with Dr. King, 11 years old. He started touring with Dr. King. He hasn't stopped.
Wow.
He goes around the world. And we met him several years back, and he said he'll be glad to come. He's coming with a part of his congregation. He's coming here this summer.
Good.
So come on out and be a part of this great move. And we pray that because of this, that we could stop someone from hurting someone else.
I know that's right. We got 2 minutes.
Okay, I want to say about this Christian preacher brother just got killed himself. We're talking about violence also. Most people don't realize that this brother's picture is in my house I'm saying. That's the only person got my house. I tell my kids this all the time. But here's the point: is this man right here from Selma do not cause us to come and remember what he's gave of his life and everything for our people. I'm saying. So now, by the same token of us losing, violence and everything like that, this man was also with violence. I ain't saying the way I want to say it, my mind's still messed up. But what I'm trying to say is that you mean to me we don't have no kind of in our heart to be merciful enough to come and remember.
Well,
what this man
again, we've been talking about the cultural changes that need to take place in our community. We need to make a cultural shift, and that's not happening easily. But you guys keep up the good work, keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, it's going to happen. Eventually, people will get the message, and hopefully, it will translate into minimizing and reducing the level of violence in our community. That's the bottom line.
We appreciate you, Mr. Randy Williams. We look forward to see you back again.
Yes, sir.
soon.
Next Friday, 9 o'clock.
Friday, 9 o'clock.
Then by that time you probably will have everything finalized.
Yes.
If you have any new additions, anything new or different that's going to happen at the march, you can let us know at that time.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for listening. I will see you Sunday morning. I do gospel on Sunday mornings now, and then from 9:30 until 11. You guys have a safe and enjoyable weekend. 100%, yes, sir. 100% chance of rain on tomorrow. 70% today. 90% tonight. Stay tuned for Fox News coming up next on WHBB Selma. You have yourself a safe and enjoyable day. Fox News is next.
Okay, next Friday. That's why I asked you. You said no at first. Okay, next Friday. Okay, I'll check with you.
All right, Mr. Randy Williams.
Okay, man.
Yes, sir. I will see you guys later.
All right. And maybe, we might touch the other situation a little clearer back in